Oh, it says live right away.
Mhm.
No little spiral thing. We're good.
Count it.
See that? Oh, there we go. All right. If you're interested, come. We're good.
I believe so. Yes.
All right. I think we're straight. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It is 11:59, so I'm about a minute early, which is pretty rare for me. So that's a good thing. We just wanted to start. This is our June session of our Facebook Live, or Chat with the Chief, if you will. And it's just an opportunity for me to talk with our citizens and community to answer questions that you might have. So I'm first going to ask anyone out there that's tuned in, if you just let us know that it's coming through okay. If we have any issues with sound or glitches, please let us know. I just want to make sure that we're coming across. But I appreciate all those that are logged on today. Um, I'll share a little bit with you briefly on where we're at crime-wise. What are we seeing? What are we addressing? And some things we have coming up. But I really want to focus most of the session today on hearing from our citizens and our communities about gun violence. I actually did a session earlier with the mayor today. Robert, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. I did a session earlier with the mayor today. Uh, Really, I guess two sessions. One was about mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, if you will, and what we're seeing in that in the community in correlation with violence and just the issue there. And then the second session was a conversation that he and I had about gun violence. So that's really where I wanted to spend the majority of the time today, really just talking to the citizens and getting your thoughts, your ideas about gun violence, what you think might contribute to it, um, strategies, ideas, thoughts that you might have, things that not just the police department, that the city of Newport News could do better, or the police department should do more of, or do better, or increase, or decrease, and then try to answer any questions you might have surrounding gun violence. So let me just see who we've got on board with us today. Robert, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Uh, Gabby, thank you. Good morning. Well, I should say afternoon, right? It's 12 noon now, so it's afternoon. Michaela, it's good to see you. Congratulations, by the way, on graduating. Kelly, could you just scroll down for me a little bit? I may have to drag it so I can make sure I get all these comments in. Ms. Cox, thank you. Um, so Robert, let's see. Robert says, I did have a question about the applicant process. Is there a way to find out why you were not chosen? So, Robert, if anyone partakes in the process to become a police officer, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. There will be a letter sent if you're not selected, um, and if you'd like to know more information, if you call the recruiting office, they can share some information with individuals about why sometimes it's that there were just better candidates. You know, it's hard when you have a small number to select from. There may be some more individuals that had some type of law enforcement experience. It could be a variety of things. It could be things in the background, past employment issues. So yeah, if you didn't get a letter, or if you did get a letter and you'd like a little bit more information, or someone would like more information, they can just call the recruitment, and you can speak to the lieutenant, the captain, or individuals there should be able to share something with you. And if they don't get what they want, if they reach out to me through Facebook or email, I can find out for you. Carrie, thanks for being here. All right, so
Just 1 minute.
so a little technology issue. Just give me 1 second. Can they still hear me?
Yes.
So before I take some more questions, I want to share with you right now. Right now, the city has this time last year we had 12 homicides. We had 9, and with the double homicide that happened, the tragic double homicide there at Killing Creek at the 7-Eleven, that put us at 11. So we had 12 this time last year. We currently have 11 this year. We're up a little bit in our robberies. Most of that is from the early part of the year, but the clearance rates, meaning arrests, have been very, very well. We have a difference of 4 in our rapes, and we're seeing a decrease in our aggravated assaults. I'll share with you that of our 11 homicides that we have, 5 of those are domestic related. The majority have happened inside residence or inside business. So that's one thing that we're seeing a little different this year. But again, I wanted to spend time really talking with you, talking to the community about gun violence in our city, what we're seeing. And I'm really hoping to hear some ideas and thoughts from you about things that we should do, or ideas that you have, or things that you think we should do more of. And it doesn't just have to be the police department, it can be different entities. So let me get caught up. If you'll scroll back up, Kelly, just a minute. I think Ms. Cox is on. Scroll back up for me.
I think that was the last one.
No, I think Ms. Cox is there. Yep. And then I saw. Let's see. So I got Michaela. Michaela, thank you. Thanks for the update on the sound. Robert, we got you. Ms. Cox, thank you for being here. And then right under Carrie.
Trying.
It's okay.
It's doing that.
It's okay. We'll get through it.
There's so many comments, I don't know what that's in.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Let's check the mouse.
Where did he leave off?
So we got Ms. Cox.
Carrie,
All
so
right. Richard, greetings again from upstate New York. Keep up the good work. Richard, thank you. Krista, appreciate you being here. Tracy, it's good to have you. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Kimberly, good afternoon, Chief Drew. I live in North District, and I have a concern about the gunshots I hear, and I'm a disabled resident. So I would ask, when you hear the gunshots, is there a particular time of day? Do you call those gunshots in? Do you dial 911? And some people, I'll tell you, it's one of the things I talked about the mayor. Should people call in when they hear gunshots? So the answer is yes. It does a couple things. One, it allows us to track a time that those gunshots come in, and an area where at least someone heard them. So when we go back and try to do analysis and statistics, it allows us to, all right, this is the time of day we're seeing, this is the day of the week, or this is the location, and maybe this areas where we need to move some resources to, or move some different officers to in that selection. So without going what the situation is, if you're hearing them, please make sure that you call them in. One of the things I worry about when we talk about shootings and shots fired is, well, somebody else will call, or I don't want to get involved. We're not going to come to your door and knock on your door and, hey, are you the one that called? We're not singling anyone out. But what we are trying to do is get some time frame and understand location, times, day of the week, those type things. So that's a great question. Let's see. Good afternoon, Chief. I live in North District. Okay, we got that one. Okay, great. Kimberly, right?
Yep. Gabby.
I am starting the process. I just turned in my background check yesterday. How long? If your question was, so one of the reasons I think that we're getting some glitches is do you think it's because there's so many posts coming in, Kelly?
Yes.
So that's all right. We'll work through them. So if your question was, it just popped off the screen, Gabby, we'll get it back up. But if your question was, how long before you know something, we have a pretty good turnaround. I don't know the position that you're putting in for, if it's a civilian position or sworn or dispatch, but we have a pretty good turnaround. So if it goes a certain amount of time frame and you haven't heard anything and you're concerned, I would call in and ask, hey, where am I at in the process? That also shows us that, hey, you're really interested. You really want to know where you're at, how are things working. So I was told to be part of the August class. So I know I've got some interviews coming up. So if you're looking at the academy, when you say the August class, the academy, those things should happen pretty quickly because we're moving fast. We do the background investigations, polygraph, and interview with me, and we get moving. So if you haven't heard anything, give us a call. Call recruiting, kind of ask, hey, where that packet is. But we still got the whole month of July as we move into the academy in August. Rhea, it's good to see you. Hope you're enjoying your summer break. I saw posts from you and Michaela both. Let's see if we can scroll back and catch up a couple of these.
Sure.
Diane Lau, thanks for being here. All right, Deborah Stokes. It's so sad. Scroll down just a little bit for me. It's so sad. You know, just, it's okay. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. You guys just bear with me for a second. We're gonna see if we can figure it. I don't know if it's that so many are coming in or if
Yeah,
is that what it is?
that's exactly what
Okay.
it is. And Facebook automatically takes you to the bottom, so then you
It's
have
so
to go
sad
back.
that my family and I don't go to events anymore where there are big crowds. You know, Deborah, I understand that, you know, the concern about, you know, things that we've seen across the country, things that we see, concerns and perception. So I understand that. I wouldn't let that deter you, but I do understand. You know, we just had our Juneteenth parade. We had the Juneteenth week all week and ended with the festival. There's large turnouts. Myself and officers were there. But some of the things that we've seen that's happened in Texas and in Buffalo, I understand that perception and your concerns, and they're real. I get it. I totally get it, and it is sad. That's one of the things, the reason I want to talk about awareness, and if you see something, to say something, and things that how we invest, and that's one of the things I just wanted to hear kind of from the community of some things or ideas that the citizens might have, things we could do better. Kimberly. Oh, yeah, okay. Susan, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. I appreciate that. Tommy, thanks for being here. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Rhea, got that. Krista, thanks for being here. Kimberly, me and fellow community members feel as though we would become a target. Kimberly, help me, become a target if for what reason? What do you mean? For if you call the police or, Kimberly, when you say become a target, what do you mean? Help me a little bit with that. Let me go down to Bob. People with crack pops turn up in their cars and are lead. I'm gonna lose them.
No, use,
I just got a view comment on my side. I can't read the whole post.
yeah. It's not moving yet.
Okay. Just give me 1 second, Bob. Let me get to you. People with crackle pop tunes on their car are leading something with guns being shot. I can't tell what he's saying. Okay. Sorry. If it is because we're getting a lot of posts, that's a good thing. You know, that's a good thing.
It's-
Here we go. Are leading people to think there's guns being shot. Yeah, you know, Bob, it could be. I hear some of the souped up cars, and it's funny. I hear those loud noises and the muffler, you know, the pops, if you will, and then the cars are driving the speed limit. So I don't know if it's a start-stop thing or they do that, but it could be. That could be. We're not getting a lot of calls. We get some traffic calls about loud noise, but it very well could be. Hey, Chief, hope to see you. Robert, yep, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you're coming back, my friend. It'll be good. Maria, thank you, Chief Drew. We're fortunate to. Well, Maria, thank you. I feel like I'm the fortunate one to be in this city, in this community. It's one of the things I told the mayor today. I feel very, very fortunate. And yeah, so this is a great city. It's a great community. You know, we have challenges like everybody else, but I think there's something unique about how we come together to get through those things. Ms. White, Chief Drew, Parents Against Bullying, appreciate all you do, the staff are doing. Ms. White, I appreciate that. Yeah, bullying is an issue that we talked about too, and some of the things that we talk about with violence. You know, bullying, social media plays a role, and I think it's so much harder today than it was when I was growing up. You know, peer pressure, and then it's over. And today in social media, it just stays there. It just lingers, and there's comments made and pictures and posts and everyone sees it and everyone hears it and then things get to a point where they explode and then things happen. And one of my concerns is that when those confrontations happen, that somebody picks up a firearm, right? And we see those things fueled by social media, and I think bullying plays a role in that. We've seen that in our city. Some individuals that talk about, I have a firearm because I'm being bullied, or I have a fire, you know, and I understand those things. The gun's not going to solve that, but I do understand. I really, for those individuals who are going through bullying situations, you know, I'd ask that you reach out to school, your friends, family, pastor, the police department, and just have a conversation with us. I don't want something that's bad to turn even worse. And we've experienced that with some of our young adult police commissioners. There's been some bullying type things and comments that we're able to talk about. SROs can maybe help in those type of situations. So, yeah, bullying is a great topic for us to spend time talking about. That's good.
Miss Marianne.
Maria, thank you. Marianne, may I ask when you're doing a walk in courthouse? So I was going to do Courthouse Green last week. I was going to do it last Friday. Then we had the holiday. And because we had the double homicide, I felt like it was more important to walk that neighborhood in Killen Creek to restore some calm, share some comments with the individuals who live there. So that was my point. But I will put Courthouse Green back on the list. Kelly King and her shop do a good job of announcing where I'm going to be at. Probably will be the next place I walk, but I just was diverted last week because I felt like we should be in Killen Creek, and then Friday ended up being a holiday here for us. So, but yeah, I haven't forgot you. Ms. White, I want to say thank you for that. Robin, happy Tuesday, Chief. Robin, thank you. It means a lot. I appreciate you being here. Ms. Stokes, give me just a second because we've got some verbiage over your post. I have my 79 something. It's okay. Let me just jump a little bit. I have my 79-year-old mom with dementia and 24-year-old and on 24-hour oxygen. So if something happened, it would be slower to get us to safety. Oh, Deborah, I understand what you're saying about going out. I get it now. No, I totally understand. I hope your mom is doing okay. It's a tough disease. So I do understand. I understand when you say that. Yep, I got you. Is there anybody after before Faith? Yes, because we called. Yeah, Kimberly, I can tell you that dispatchers, we're not going to send an officer to your door unless you ask. Many times they'll ask, "Do you want an officer to come by and see you?" But we're not going to highlight that. You don't even have to give your name, right? We'll usually ask, "Can you tell us what you saw, what you heard, what the situation is?" But we're not going to come and knock on your door or talk to you unless you want that. Dispatchers will probably even ask you, "Would you like a follow-up phone call, or is there a number where an officer can call and talk to you?" But I don't want you to feel that we're going to come up and knock on the doors. We're not going to let anyone know that you are the person that called. We won't do that. Good afternoon. Happy first day of summer. Faith, I appreciate that. Yep, summer is definitely here. Todd, it's good to hear from you, my friend. Appreciate. I hope you're being safe. Take care of yourself, and hope to see you guys soon, man. Appreciate you chiming in. Hope you're not too bored today, my friend. Dana, give me just a second for us to catch up. There we go. 13 News. Appreciate the work you officers are doing. Dana, I really appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, your question, Dana. Give me a second. We just got a message over your post. Looks like it's about the video, some snapshots that we put out today. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's see if we can get that back.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Oh, okay, here we go. Quick question. Investigators released surveillance video of a suspect involved in the 7-11 robbery and homicide last Wednesday. Are you able to give us any update on where detectives are at the investigation or any other suspects? As always, thank you. As always, always thanks for speaking on the gun violence in our area. So yeah, there was correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, there was some still shots put out today of some surveillance, some short footage that we have. It is our hope that maybe a citizen or someone will see that individual, that it might recognize some features that they see in the video or clothing, something along those lines. I can't put out any more information from investigations. I can tell you it's ongoing, but I can't reveal anything, individuals that have been talked to or things that we're looking at or leads that have come in. I don't want to go, but I will share with you. The stills we put out were looked at late yesterday and put together and sent out. They were sent out this morning, I believe. after talking with the detective and seeing that that's the best ones that we had to put out. So my hope is that it generates some conversation. People take a hard look at that. You know, that the two individuals that lost their life were very much invested in the community, and the community were invested in them. They knew each other, right? It was very apparent when we did a care walk there on Thursday. There were a lot of members of the community that came forward, a lot of individuals, business people as well, that wanted as much information as we could give them. And of course, they got the question, you know, are we in danger? And look, anyone who takes two people's lives is a dangerous individual. I don't think that the neighborhood is being targeted. I think that store was. I think our leading theory right now still is that it was a robbery. But trying to piece through other things that happened and where we go from here. But I can't release anything more than that. Diane, I have a concern about the number of 18-wheelers that park on Patrick Henry Drive on the weekend. It gets hazard turning off the residential streets. There are as many as 10 to 12 for the rules for commercial vehicles. So, Diane, it's a good point. I know that we've been working with the city administration about those large 18-wheeler trucks parking where they can and where they can't park. You know, we had some issue on Industrial Drive in that area. I haven't heard much. Well, yeah, Patrick Henry Drive. So yeah, it's tough, and we're trying to work with the truck drivers and a location where they can park. We're just trying to work through that. So I know there's some issues. I know there's been some complaints that have come down to the city and asked us to enforce restrictions and parking and those type things. So I don't want to tell you wrong here. I'm not going to. I'm not as up on that as the traffic division and special operations division that's been working with that. But I'll see if I can find out what's the latest. It's probably about a week or two ago that I heard some complaints, and the city was trying to find a way of how can we work with those individuals that drive those vehicles without impeding traffic and hurting the city streets and parking. And so I know there's some hazards there with those turns and that they lanes that are taken up. So we'll try to work with that as much as we can. I'll see if I can find out some more for you, and I'll put it back on the post today. So I'll ask Kelly to remind me to send that back out to you. I think we can send a message to her directly if I'm not mistaken. So I'll do that today. Deborah, what is going to be implemented with the new school year to try to keep weapons out of schools? My daughter will begin high school. Congratulations. And it scares me. She is zoned for Denby High School. So, Deborah, a couple of things I can tell you for sure. We're going to make sure that we have SROs in our schools. The point of that is, one, for safety, and two, to build relationships. The second thing I will say is that we're doing some active shooter drills, some awareness for the school districts. We'll be doing those most likely in August, right before school starts, to get everybody spun up on what we do and why we do it and what to expect. Third thing is that we really encourage, there was a time where somebody would call in a thread or post a thread, and maybe 10, 15 years ago it wasn't taken as seriously as it is today. We have technology, and we're able, if a student or an adult or anyone says, hey, I saw this post, and they send it to us, we're able to track on where that came from without giving too much away. We're able to track where that came from, and it's taken very, very seriously, and the schools will move very, very swiftly once we identify that individual, if there's criminal charges or school charges. So, no, I understand, with what we see across the country, some situations that have happened with school shootings, so I completely get it. I understand those concerns. I don't want to speak for the schools on things that they may be doing or things that they're discussing on doing in the upcoming school year, but I know those are three things for us that we'll be addressing: social media posts that come through, SROs in the school, and some training for not only the school district, but also our school resource officers and how we respond to situations like that. I think that we've been very fortunate here, that we've had a good relationship with our schools, a good relationship with our students, and information. If something's heard, we've been able to interact with those individuals that have made posts. Sometimes, and most of the time, they will tell us, oh, I didn't mean it, it's not a game. So, Deborah, your concerns are heard, and I greatly understand that. But yeah, so I don't want to speak for the schools on some things that they may have in place as we move forward into the new school year coming out of the summer. That's a great question, and I understand your concerns. Mary, I froze up again?
Yeah, it's catching up.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
8 comments waiting.
How many?
8.
Okay, well, that's good.
Mhm.
So I want to thank everyone for chiming in. Because they're coming in a lot at the same time, I think it's freezing a little bit, but that's all right. We'll work through it. I'm in no hurry. These conversations are important, and I think it's important for us to have a conversation. So make sure, I don't want to forget Mary, that's where I'm leaving off at. See a little bit of it, I understood that with all the preteens out, I can't. It's like the, guess the word in the hidden message. While we're waiting for that, I'll share some things that the department's doing. And we started looking at the summer back in March, selecting some neighborhoods that we're going to have really strategic enforcement. Our narcotics and gang unit are moving very, very effectively in some things they're doing with removing illegal narcotics and firearms. The search warrants that I've seen, our clearance rates are very, very good. And when I say clearance rate, I mean a crime has happened, and we were able to solve that or arrest the individual that committed that crime. We're continuing to build community relationships to strengthen our communication between officers and citizens. That if you see something, to say something. We've done some community, we have a community day set for each precinct. One is this Saturday that will take place in the South Precinct, where we'll be sitting down, a lot of vendors coming out sharing information, safety tips, how to interact with the police, opportunities with the police department. But it's just for us to expose ourselves a little bit and be open to the community. So I hope you'll come out and visit us. There'll be food at each event. But for South Precinct, it is this Saturday at 10 o'clock till 2, and it's at,
It's on our Facebook page.
yeah, I don't want to, I'm getting it
Where's
confused
our-
with last year.
Community Day. Sarah, do you know on Saturday? Where's our Community Day Saturday?
It still froze up on us. Yeah, still Mary, I'm sorry. I haven't forgot you. We just got there's wording over your post, and I can't read the whole thing. Oh, here we go.
What is it?
Seawaldo Scott. So, Seawaldo Scott Center is where we'll be this Saturday. We'll be there at 10 o'clock. There'll be food. Everyone's invited. I hope you come out and interact with us a little bit, and we'll have some fun. There'll be some games and stuff going on. So it'll be a good day. So Mary, okay, I understood that there were 3 preteens out here cussing like our adults. I think a presence of police would make a world of difference. I understood that with all these preteens out here cussing like adults, I think, what area are you talking about, Mary? When you say out here, what do you mean?
Was she the courthouse green maybe?
Are you talking about Courthouse Green or, yeah, just kind of help me a little bit about what you mean. Richard, what about bullying the police? I see that way too. What about bullying the police? I see that way too often. Yeah, Richard, it's hard sometimes and frustrating when people, individuals, want to turn aggression towards police, things that they say. As long as those individuals are not obstructing what we're trying to do, they're not in the way of and affecting an arrest or hindering an investigation, we'll take most of that. But if there does come a part where they inject or get in the way, there's a obstruction charge. Now, just, across the street yelling, as long as they're not impeding traffic or impeding anything that we're trying to do, we'll take some of that up to a point, but it can't cross that line. It can't become a disorderly situation where people may be put in danger. Someone's in the middle of the street or getting out of their vehicle or walking across the street, and there's no problem with videoing police and what they do. We have body-worn cameras as well. But you can't get right up on those officers. They don't know who that individual is. And when they tell someone to step back and they don't step back, then it becomes a concern, and they're starting to watch that individual and the individual that someone from the community called about, or someone that the officers are interacting with. So as long as you're not interfering, we'll take some of that. But the point where you cross that line and becomes now an obstruction of what we're trying to do, then arrest can be made. I appreciate you bringing that up, Richard. I've seen some videos recently, and yeah, the officers, they put up with a lot. But it's also, that is what it is. But there is a line, and if it's crossed, we will make an arrest if we have to. Melissa, thank you for attending the high school graduations last weekend. Your support means so much. Well, I'll tell you, Melissa, it's important, I think, to show support for our youth. That's our future. I have a real burden for young people in our city, our community. I think we have some of the most talented young people anywhere. So interacting with the young adult police commissioners, the mayor's youth commission, I saw some of them do a debate, the high school graduations, and we even have some high school students that right out of high school come to work for us here at the police department in different factions. So yeah, no, it means a lot. I think it's important, and it was great to see them walk across the stage, and they've certainly worked hard, and especially this graduating class that missed a couple years with the pandemic, some challenges they faced. So it was well deserved. So thank you for that. Mary, yes, that. Oh, Mary,
Right.
thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. Can we go down a little bit, or are we stuck again?
Second.
Stuck again.
We will
Gosh.
look into this and see if there's anything we can do with it. So
That's okay.
unfortunately.
So I apologize for those that when it freezes up. I don't know if it's a number of comments or something with the system. I can tell you I'm not touching anything though. I'm not touching anything. I didn't break anything today. But yeah, no, the high school graduations. It was great to see not only kids graduating and walking across the stage, but the number of parents and friends that came out to support. And I was telling the mayor today, in every graduation speech, from the saluted valedictorian, every one of them talked about challenges this senior class had faced with missing the time away from school during the pandemic, and what COVID and it causes. So it's clearly that it impacted them, and just to hear them talk about it and things that they overcame, challenges, I thought was fantastic. Coming back and being seniors and graduating, they worked hard and earned it, and they're just really valuable. And I have a real compassion for youth of this city. Is it Jean?
Jen?
Jen? How are you, Jen? Thanks for being here. She was. We're froze up again. Deborah, it happens so much. It's so sad. Deborah, it is. If we're talking about some of the situations we talked about earlier, it is sad. But I do believe if we focus hard, if everybody plays a role, my fear is that people back away and say it's someone else's issue, it's someone else's concern, the police can handle it. This city is 186,000 people, and we can't be everywhere, right? There was a post earlier about some teens cussing in the area, and we got to prioritize those calls on where we go to, right? And we are seeing violence across our country. So we try to learn as much from those situations and incidents as we can. What can we take away from Texas? What can I take away from Buffalo and implement here? And I would love to say it'll never happen here. I would love to say that, but I can't. But what I can say is we're looking at things to decrease the probability of it happening here. So if there's an individual that's posting some things on social media about mass shootings or violence, that's someone we need to address right away and not wait until there's 7 or 8 posts, something happens, and we get asked the question, you saw these, why didn't people in schools, or why didn't human services, or why didn't faith leaders, or why didn't police, or whoever, why didn't friends who knew about these posts say anything, right? Gun violence is all of our responsibility, and we all got to play a role. So that's one of the things that we make sure that we talk about. Diane, thank you. I appreciate that. Elizabeth, Hello from Suffolk, been a while. Price? Yep, just making sure I'm reading that right. Price, good to hear from you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. I think all schools, I think what Morgan is saying is I think all schools should have metal detectors. I think that's what it says. So, Morgan, I know there's some couple different thoughts on that. One thought is from what I understand, because I don't want to speak for schools, but I think one thought is use them when needed or when you feel like or use them at random, different times. Some use them all the time. I don't know the best answer to that. I don't, I think the school board, the school system, they talk about that a lot and how's the most effective way. But I certainly understand the thought process behind having them all the time. Does that affect someone walking into school and how they feel about being in their school, or is it a safety measure? So, yeah, that's a great. Sometimes I think we should ask students how they feel about that. About metal detectors. Do they want them? Do they not want them? And I'm not saying the school board had. They very well may have. But I know that the school talks about that issue a lot. There was rumor that there will be a school shooting at my school, and other officers standing out didn't think they would take me seriously, but thank God he did. Yeah, so yeah, there were some rumors of some issues at schools, especially that last week. We got a couple. So Captain Smith and his team just put extra officers at some locations just to make sure there was a presence. And it is important that we take those things seriously. And it doesn't matter if it comes from a citizen, a parent. It doesn't matter if it comes from another student. I think that sometimes they are so much more locked into things on social media than we see or that we hear about. So I think it's good that students out there are monitoring, looking at those things for their safety as well, right? And sharing that information. But I will tell you that it's something that we do take seriously and we move very, very quickly on. Sometimes we move so quickly on it, parents will call the next morning and ask, why were there so many vehicles at a particular school? And usually that's because there's been some type of threat that we're following up on, want to move very quickly to address. And even if we can't determine right away where the threat came from, we want to put resources there to deter anything from happening or to respond if anything were to be happening. So, yeah, it can't just be something that we take for granted anymore. We have to pay close attention to that. So that's a good post, Rhea. Thank you for that. It means a lot. Thank you. All right, let's see. Still froze. There we go. Right above Irene. Any updates on the 7-Eleven? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. The only updates I can tell you is that we put out some still photos today, hoping that someone might see or recognize the individual, some movements. I think there was 3 or 4 frames that we put out, but that's the hope, that someone might recognize something: clothing, movements, body shape, size, just to give us maybe some idea. So that was the reason, but there's no other updates to put out. I don't want to jeopardize the case about interviews that we've done, information that's come in, or tips that have come in. I still think the leading theory is a robbery, but those things can change as well. So right now, the only update that we can put out to the media, to the community, and through social media, right, is some still footage, some photos that we put out, some different frames of the camera surveillance footage that we were able to acquire. Irene, sorry I'm late to the discussion. I went and voted. No, Irene, that's good. That's no problem. I just appreciate you taking the time. We've kind of been talking a little bit primarily about gun violence and anything that citizens think they'd like to see us do, or that we should do more of or less of, or maybe try to implement. I just really kind of wanted to hear from community today and citizens and how they're feeling about gun violence and thoughts that they have about it. I know it affects. Again, I had a session with the mayor this morning, and one of the things we talked about, that it doesn't just affect that one family, right? It affects the suspect's family as well. It affects a neighborhood, a community, and it's impactful. It affects the officers who investigate those crimes, that respond to those scenes, and but the impact on family is just detrimental. And I just want people to think about that and things that they're hearing and to get involved, right? And I'm not asking citizens to step out and say, hey, I saw it. This is, you can call us, you can let us know through email, text messages. tip line, just to get information to us. So, but gun violence is all of our responsibility. Chief, any suspect description in the Killing Creek homicide, and will the surveillance footage be released? I think we just hit that. We did put out some surveillance footage this morning. We looked at it yesterday, did some enhancing. So some of that has been out, but I don't have any more info on the homicide to put out. We were just kind of talking about that. So yeah, Deborah. Last year they did do random bag checks and did find one student with a BB gun. Yeah, I will tell you, Deborah, I'm not against that at all. I understand it makes sense to me. A couple incidents that we had at schools last year where guns were recovered in the parking lot, and of course we had a school shooting last year. It was just, and that affects everyone. And a couple of the students that we work with and talk to still have concerns about that incident. So I know it. I'm telling you, I know it's impactful. I know it is. And when you see other things that have happened around the country, yeah. So anything to me, for me, I don't want to. I want the students to get the best education, enjoy school, have the best opportunity. But safety, I don't want people to sit in a classroom and worry about, is something going to happen to me today? Is something going to happen here today? And that's why it's so important when someone says something in a locker room or in a restroom, or when someone posts something on social media. I'm coming to do this tomorrow, and to let us know, let us investigate that and get it to our technology people and our officers, that we can respond to that, get ahead of the game. And I can tell you, the schools aren't playing around with that stuff. It's not a joke. It's not funny. I guarantee you, if you ask family members that are living in Texas, Buffalo, it's not funny. It's not a game. So it's a great comment, Deborah. Thank you. What happened at 7-Eleven was so sad as a community. What can we do? So I think that's kind of what we're talking about. I think it's be observant. If you see something, say something. The two individuals there knew that community well. The community knew them well. Yeah, so you don't get a lot of calls there in that neighborhood or community. Not a lot of issues at that 7-Eleven. So what I would ask citizens to do is be vigilant. If you see something that looks out of the norm, to call it in, to let us know about it. You're not bothering us. One of the questions that came up today in the session I had with the mayor was, is it a problem if citizens call, or if citizens may feel like they're bothering the police? I'm telling you, you're not. I would rather get a call and it be nothing than to not get a call and we're stringing crime scene tape up, right? So please don't ever feel that way. So what can citizens do? I think they can pay attention to their surroundings, ring doorbell cameras if you catch something on your camera, but just be vigilant, right? Just be vigilant. If you see something, to say something. If you feel something, if you're concerned about, well, I see this car in the neighborhood, or I see this individual keeps walking back and forth and he doesn't or she doesn't live here. There's someone looking into vehicles, or there's someone lingering around a store. To let us take it. It doesn't mean that it's incumbent upon us to explain to that individual why we're stopping them. It's not going to say, hey, so and so called. It's, we received a report of, or we received a concern, or we received a call, and we just want to check you out and make sure that everything's okay and trying to protect this community and neighborhood. Not targeting anyone, we're not profiling anyone, but we received a call from a citizen that was concerned, and we just need to talk to you. Ride-alongs with the officers, we starting again. Yes, if you're interested in doing a ride-along, those are back open. If you call in, we can get that scheduled. You can do the whole shift or part of a shift, but that's important. You kind of get firsthand knowledge. We'll get you a vest and kind of get firsthand knowledge of calls and what it feels like to ride in a police car, hear the radio traffic come across, and respond to some of the calls and the scenes. He's responding. Deborah, I'll get to you in just a second. Looks like it froze up again on us. And I agree, it was heartbreaking. That post right above that, it was heartbreaking. That was hard. The officers that responded, I'm concerned that, they walked in the 7-Eleven and saw what they saw. And I know that affects people, right? It affects us just like anyone else. I was impressed that, the officer responded the way she did, was able to check the area, get backup coming, and explain what she had. But no one should have to see or experience something like that. So I thought she did an awesome job, but it was heartbreaking. It was hard to, when I got the briefing from the homicide guys when they came over, and it was hard to hear about that double homicide. Yeah, and I'll tell you, any loss of life is hard to hear. There's someone that takes it from someone else, and that's why I think that we have to make a strong stance against gun violence, that not allow it to capitalize us into fear, not allow us to make us stay shut in our homes, not to let that win. I think that we have to stand up against it together and talk about it, react and respond to it. Those things, and being able to de-escalate and walk away, and not the first resource being to pull out a firearm and use it. That's just bad. It doesn't solve anything. Everyone should go fishing. No one fights while fishing unless it's a fish at the end of the pole. Whatever that might be. I'm gonna use that phrase. How do we stop gun violence, reduce it? People should go fishing. I like that. Dana, our daughter will be moving back to Virginia from Mississippi after accepting a new job in our area. That's great. How long does she have to wait before she get a Virginia's license and register her car? Most individuals like to see that done within 30, 45 days. I know there's been some backups at DMV, but yeah, I think we'll work with them if she stopped or something like that. But most people like to see that done in 30 to 45 days when relocating. But I don't know what kind of job she's got, but I'm happy that she's coming back to the area. That's great. Yep. Thank you, Ms. Yeah, Waldo Scott. What that post is about? That's our community day this Saturday, 10 to 2, at the C. Waldo Scott Field. They said we'll have food there. A lot of vendors will be there. Really, really encouraging the community to come out and interact with us. You see some officers. You probably see some of our new recruits there. But I'm looking forward to it. We had a great community day with Juneteenth on Saturday. We got to play soccer with some youth of our city, and then there was a kickball game with the Boys and Girls Club afterwards. And when we talk about gun violence, I think those things play a role too in our relationships with each other, having open conversations, feeling that you can walk up to a police officer and have a conversation, sharing that information with law enforcement is very, very important. And the more people that get involved, the better we will be in addressing some of the gun violence that we've seen in the area. So we hit on from what can we do as a community, what can we do to help. So I think again, when we talk about what can you, I think it's just being involved, paying attention, having those ring door cameras are outstanding benefit and a plus. If you see something or hear something, to please let us know. If something you see in the community, if you see a car just driving through the neighborhood multiple times and not stopping and you're concerned about it, I would rather let us know about it. If you see a license plate of someone acting suspicious, to let us know. We're not going to ask you we're not going to identify you in any way, but it would give us something to look at to see if there's an issue. That community there in Killing Creek is a good, strong community. I saw that from the walk, for the number of people that came out, very caring. You guys just have a strong that business area there, and the people that worked at 7-Eleven and the interaction they had. Everything I heard was very, very positive. So I know it's frustrating. I know it's heartbreaking. It was hard to hear that news. I remember when I got the phone call and responded, and seeing families show up. It's just all of it is impactful to our community and our city. Any loss of life. That's why I definitely believe all schools need to do. Morgan, I understand. The 7-Eleven video, Pam, the 7-Eleven video that was released from Killing Creek, does he have a mask on? I cannot tell. Appreciate your officers coming to my house last week. Pam, he does. There is some type of face covering, so that's one of the challenges that we have. I think we're looking maybe at body movements or clothing, anything that someone can see. If anything looks familiar. But yeah, there is some type of covering there. I'm not exactly sure what that is. But yes. And you're welcome. When we walk in the community, part of it is to reassure citizens, to make sure citizens are okay. Did you see or hear anything? But really, a lot of those walks are just, we're here. If you have any questions or concerns, we want you to know that you all matter. And share any information that we can at that point without giving anything away in the investigation that would harm it, but to let you sort of know, hey, we think this is what happened, this is why, this is what you're going to see, that kind of thing. So I appreciate that, Pam. That means a lot. Thank you. Tracy, good afternoon. Will there be any activities for the kids, teens to participate in for the summer? And if so, are they going to be affordable? So Parks and Rec has different things. The police department will try to be partnering and doing different activities. We're looking at a basketball league with our Boys and Girls Club and middle school range. We've got, like I said, we've got some community days, but if you're looking for like league activities and those type things, Parks and Recs will run those and oversee those. Whether it's Little League, I don't know if there's something, Tracy, that you're interested in or anything in particular, but we try to do a lot with our Community Youth and Outreach Division. We partner a lot with the Boys and Girls Clubs and things that they do with youth. But we're willing to partner with just about anybody that has kids involved. But if you give me like an idea of an age or something you're looking at, I can tell you if Parks and Recs has something like that, if that's what you're talking about, like organized. But we are looking at doing a basketball league here very, very shortly with the Boys and Girls Clubs, where officers will help coach, and we'll have the games on Saturday, and we'll bring some food in and just interact with the youth of our city. We've done that before, a couple years before the pandemic, and then the pandemic shut us down. But we'd had a couple seasons where we've done that. Kickball leagues, we did those things too. Where just kids come out and play and interact, and it's been very, I think it's beneficial the more interaction we have. But as far as organized and leagues and things like that, Parks and Recs does oversee that. Let's see what we got. She was asking about courthouse, so I'm assuming you're talking about courthouse green and walking there. So yeah, I thought we hit that earlier, that I was supposed to do that last week, but we moved it because of the double murder that we had. So we walked Killing Creek instead. We'll be going back to do courthouse, and if you just keep an eye on our Facebook post, that's where Kelly King and her team will let you know where I'm going. But most likely, unless something changes, I'll try to do courthouse green this Friday. I used to try to do those around 4 or 4:30. We've got a gala Friday night with our young adult police commissioners, so I'm looking forward to that. But I will walk somewhere on Friday, and I'll really try to get courthouse green in there this week if I can. I would have done it last week. That's where I was going until we were notified of the double homicide. Anna, hey Chief, forgot you're on. I have a busy schedule, as you do. All the stuff that you do and volunteer for the city. Thank you for you and your team is going to do a great job on a daily basis. And God protect. Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things, sometimes people question me, but I believe that there are a lot of people in this community that are praying for this department and praying for our city, praying for a reduction in gun violence. And I think that matters. I think that plays a key role. I think our faith leaders, my conversations with them, they have some of the same concerns that I do. As we talk about how do we prepare, we're going to be working with some churches in the southeast about preparedness and things that what to expect if something were to occur inside one of their places of worship. And then we'll also do one in the north and invite churches if they want to come, and whether a particular church hosts it or we host it. But I just think that's important for just because some of the things that we see in the community, we see across our country. Churches are always a location where people gather, and I think it's important to have the conversations about what to expect, what to look for. Here's maybe some safety measures, and here's what you'll see when the police respond and how we'll respond and why we respond. And then we'll talk about in other businesses, we do things preventive-wise, like SEPTED through protection through environmental design, some different things. Maybe taking down a lot of the posters and stickers in the window, so when officers come by, we can see inside the business to make sure everything's okay there. But yeah, all of those things. It's just about awareness and being prepared, right? Trying to decrease the probability of something happening. But Anna, thank you for all the volunteer work that you do, not only with the police department, but the city. It means a lot. I appreciate that. As a community, what can we do to help the 7-Eleven situation? I think we've hit that a couple times.
Ann was sharing some love up there too. We missed her. Ann
Oh,
back.
and Mac, I'm sorry, I did miss you when you scrolled up, not my fault. Appreciate you being here, and thank you very much, that means a lot. As a community, read the last post here, and you got some wording over, but as a community, what can we do to help the 7-Eleven situation, to know how we can help? So, yeah, we've hit that a couple times. I think it's about being aware, knowing what's going on in your community. Ring doorbell cameras are huge if you have those installed. If you see something, to say something. If there's a vehicle that continues to drive in the community, or just circle around and it's concerning, or if you see someone hanging out in front of a business and it's concerning, if there's someone looking into a business late at night, anything that's out of the norm, if you're concerned about it, I think if you were asking me what can communities do, it's get involved. And if you see something, right, to say something. I can send an officer to that community that can drive through the area, but if they get called somewhere, they have to go to answer that call. And there's only X amount of number of officers on the street, so the people who live in residences live there. And if you own, and when I say own, I mean if you visually police that area, if everybody visually police their area, those things would help. And it doesn't matter where you live. If it's an area that's having spikes or trends, or an area that's quiet at all, it's not being complacent. It's if I see something or hear something, to call the police and let them know and share that information with us. We may tell you that, yeah, we already got a call and it's not gunshots, it's fireworks, and we're talking to the residents now, or that vehicle looking through, we did stop that vehicle, and they were just looking at homes in the area, or a place to live, or move to, relocate, whatever it might be. But the other may fall as well, that we stopped a car and there were individuals that were up to no good. And it may not be individuals from our community. It could be individuals from other communities, other areas, looking at neighborhoods or looking at something in our city. We have a great relationship with our federal partners, a great relationship with our regional partners. We share information back and forth. We have a real-time crime center that we're really focusing a lot of technology on, and camera systems that feed in, right? So that officers, right? Officers are sitting watching those cameras and watching that footage that we can track just about anywhere. It's not a big brother type thing. We're not trying to sneak up on anybody, but what we are trying to do is solve crime when it happens and prevent crime, to being more strategic. So if there's 5 individuals, and instead of approaching all 5, something on camera shows one individual may have the firearm, or one individual may be doing some type of drug trade, or one individual may be testing the locks on cars, that's the individual we approach strategically. It's trying to work smarter. So, so again, how can the community help? I think it's just being vigilant, being aware of what's going on, and if you see something or you hear something, and that means with your eyes or your ears or in social media, that you contact us and let us know. But my hope is some of the footage we release, that someone might pick up on some type of clothing or some type of movement or individual that they saw earlier that day that matches that description, that type thing. You should call Dean. I think you're responding to someone else. So, Irene, I have a question about marijuana. Is it legal now? How does this apply to living in an apartment rental, dealing with a terrible odor that is permeating inside my unit and outside? So, marijuana has been decriminalized. You still can't sell it, but you can possess it up to a certain amount. It's legal to smoke. We won't, the police won't. We can't just react to the odor of marijuana. We can ask questions, but it's not illegal, and no one's bound to answer those questions if we ask. Marijuana has been decriminalized. So the part where is it the odor and permeating inside and outside the unit where I live. I think you have to share that with your apartment management. Tell them you're concerned. Share that with them. But criminally, if it's a health issue coming through your vent, that's an issue. But criminally, it has been decriminalized, so it restricts us. The majority of elected officials felt like that's not where our resources should best be placed, so we're unable to do some of the things we had done before when we smelled marijuana, which was probable cause. Now it's not. So there's some different issues there. Yeah, and look, there's some advice there, contacting leasing office, yeah, absolutely. Latoya, sorry Latoya, I got some words over your post, just give me a second, we froze up a minute. And I apologize to those that are with us today about freezing up, we'll see what we can do about it, I don't know if that's our system, or if that's just Facebook, or if a lot of posts came in at one time. But Latoya, I appreciate you being here. We're gonna be on again at 6 o'clock. Again, I'm going to try to steer the conversation towards gun violence. Any ideas and thoughts? You know, we've talked a little bit today about issues in schools. We talked today a little bit about if you see something to hear. We've actually talked a lot about if you see something, to please say something, to get involved. We talked about Facebook and social media posts, to make sure that we monitor that. But I also ask the community to please make sure that you monitor that if you see something. And I'm parents as well, right? If you see something, if your son or daughter has some image or post pop up on their phone, you know, to get involved, to ask us. I mean, it's not about getting someone in trouble. It's about making sure that we're safe. And a crime that affects someone else today could certainly affect you tomorrow. And we talked about public safety is not just a police function, it's all of us. We're the branch that responds to it, but to be proactive, it really has to be the whole community that plays a role. There are some questions that came in. I don't know, Kelly, if you want to hit some of these, if we hadn't addressed them. Try scrolling up one more time.
Do you
Got it. Yeah, here, no, scroll back down, or back up. I missed one right before me. Latoya. Latoya, it's good to have you on board. Thank you. I know my complex should be making rules on the subject, but what is my legal rights when people are partying all night and playing loud music? Yep. So if it's loud issues, you can call us. We'll ask them to turn it down. But I would really strongly encourage you, if you're in an apartment complex, I would touch base with them, make the complaint about whatever apartment that's coming from, and the issues. And your health does matter, right? If that smoke's coming in, it's hard to breathe or whatever. That is an issue. There's no doubt. So I would talk to your apartment complex first. If they are not helping you, then you can feel free to reach out to us. But the conversation we'll probably have next is the apartment manager ourselves. Thanks for the updates, Chief. Appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you being here. Latoya, thank you. That means a lot. That was terrible for people who live in Killen Creek. The family on the 7-Eleven were so nice. Yeah, Irene, I agree. It was hard to hear. It was hard to see families showing up, and any loss of life is tragic. Two individuals that lost their life, right? They were just working. They weren't involved in some activity. It wasn't a back and forth thing. People that were working and what possessed someone to take their lives is just tragic. So I completely get it. Kelly, were there any particular questions that because we tried to talk about some issues of gun violence before, and some people sent some questions. Is there any that we haven't talked about that might be beneficial?
I don't think so. I think we addressed the marijuana and how that is no longer, this person had concerns that
Sure.
THC, and I would ask how they got stopped, and many times it was a taillight out or something similar. I don't think that can happen now, and I think you addressed that, not
Okay.
probable cause. And what do police think the root of the problem is with gun violence? You all see it every day and know the circumstances in most
Yeah.
cases on what happened. Is it kids, guns, lack of parental control, gangs, lack of teaching, conflict resolution, mental health, background checks?
You know, I think that's probably the best question I've heard today is in the litany of responses there are concerns. Mental illness, conflict resolution, I think is huge. Is someone able to walk away from a fight or a confrontation or a social media post? I know that can be hard, right? But the alternative can't be, let me just reach down and pick up a firearm and use it. It can't be that. It takes a bigger, more intelligent, and stronger person to walk away. Doesn't mean that you're wimping out or punking out or any of that nonsense. What it means is you're not going to allow words that someone says to affect you so much that you're willing to take someone's life. That you're bigger than that. That you're more intelligent than that. Parents play a role, police play a role. We've talked about our faith leaders, our schools, human services, our courts. Everyone plays a role. Our magistrates. Are we making sure that we're holding people that need to be held? Are we making sure that we're putting punishment down that matches the crimes and making sure that we're investigating complaints that come through and arresting those that are committing these acts. How do we deal with it on the front end? It means that we're having strong conversations. It means that there are classes about conflict resolution and how to diffuse situations or how to walk away from it. You know, words aren't going to hurt you the way that a bullet will, right? And those decisions can affect you for the rest of your life. If you use that to respond to someone that says something or pushes you or tries to coax you in through something with social media, you may spend the next 25 or 30 years of your life in prison. Over what? Because somebody said something that you could turn away from, right? It's almost like a television channel. If you don't like it, turn it off. Now I understand, bullying and hey, I got to defend myself, but there are other ways to address that where we can help you, right? Where schools can help you. I don't want someone to have to turn to acts of violence to be protected. In groups or neighborhood beefs or gang issues that doesn't solve anything. It's just perpetual, right? And if that's the lifestyle you choose, then I'm telling you, it only ends a couple ways. The mayor and I talked about this again this morning. It ends with an arrest. It ends with someone being in the hospital. Maybe you don't have the ability to use your limbs or you're in a wheelchair, that you may not be able to move at all, or that you're arrested and in prison and you lose years off of your own life, or God forbid that you kill someone or you're killed. And the impact that has on family and sons and daughters and brothers and sisters, the impact it has on communities. Those aren't good choices. And I think it's about being responsible for your actions, being able to walk away, not letting someone coax you in by words. And if someone bumps into you at a party or some type of establishment and words are exchanged, just walk away from that nonsense. There's no point going out to your car and getting a fireman firing rounds off when people leave a bar or a club or a restaurant, whatever it might be. We're bigger than that. You're bigger than that. And I'm telling you now that your life is more important than that. It is. You matter. You matter. And don't allow moments of anger to impact so much that it pushes you to a limit that you can't come back across from. It's devastating. But I believe together, all of us, I think gun violence is something that we can't control if we come together as a community and do that. Does the Killing Creek community, Rhea, what do you have at our school, but some parents and kids complain on how they don't want their kids to be checked every day because it feels like, yeah, Rhea, we talked about that. It's about the metal detectors. I understand both sides. There are concerns both ways. I get that. So it's a good point. And it's good coming from a youth. Rhea is one of our police commissioners, and it's a good comment. We talked about that earlier today, that some find it very valuable, some make it feel, and I'm not going to tell the schools. I wouldn't even think about telling the schools what they should do. I think they have to balance that. Is it random? Is it permanent? Is it not at all? And what works best? I would say they'll include the youth in those conversations. How do the youth feel about those metal detectors? Does the Killing Creek community still have security that drives around the neighborhoods? I don't know. I don't want to tell you wrong, Irene. I don't know if that's something the homeowners association have in place or not. I don't know if that community has that or not. I know that is a good, strong community, a good, strong neighborhood. I saw that when we did our walk on Thursday. People that came out and joined us and just talked a lot about the individuals that worked at that 7-Eleven, that business, and how they were known, and vice versa, how that they knew them. It's just a sad situation. Any loss of life is, coming off of. I was just in San Francisco a couple weeks ago, and myself and Chief Grinstead were there, and probably 300 police chiefs, and we got a full briefing of the mass shooting that happened in Buffalo. And while we were there, we had the situation in I believe it was in Tulsa, and we saw the situation unfolding in Texas. And we train and we communicate and awareness and take ownership of our areas where we live, of our communities. We're sharing information, not being afraid to call in, not thinking, well, someone else will do it or it's someone else's responsibility. I'm telling you, gun violence is all of our responsibility. So if you hear something or see something, to please let us know. And that goes to youth as well. You guys are much more well versed in social media than a lot of the adults are. And people talk about and people get frustrated and, oh, you know, I did this, I'm gonna come back here and do this to the school tomorrow. Sometimes that is just done to create fear or to draw attention. Some may think it's a game, something to play around with, but I'm telling you it's not. I'm telling you, and there's plenty of victims. There's plenty of victims' families that can tell you it's not. We have a homicide support group that we meet with once a month, and none of those mothers will tell you that it's a game for them. It's real. But it is okay to walk away from a confrontation. It's okay to walk away and not get drugged down, and to not let pressure push you to a point where you've got to escalate to use deadly force. That no disagreement or no disrespect is worth taking someone's life or having yours taken. We can make a difference in gun violence if we work together. Can we get rid of all of it ever? I wouldn't. I don't know that. Can we decrease the probability? Can we decrease the number that we're seeing? Yes. Communities getting involved, taking back their areas where they live, starting with your own house or apartment, whatever it might be. Areas that you drive back and forth, that community, where your kids go to school, kids in your schools owning that you're not going to allow, you're not going to tolerate that nonsense in your school. You're not even going to entertain those conversations. And if people post it, that, yeah, look, we're going to let the police know. Because if we don't, the alternative is, if we don't get involved, we may be the victims the next time. And we're all in this together in this city. This is a great city. I'd like to see us set the tone for the nation and how to combat and address gun violence. It's laws, it's getting interactive, it's taking an active role, it's taking back ownership, it's addressing and talking about the situation, it's making sure that we put firearms up that are locked away, and reporting them if a firearm is stolen from your house or your vehicle, and we're sharing information, right? If you see something, to say something. I can't tell you how important that is, because it has paid off over and over and over again. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. I know I went over a little bit. I apologize about the screen freezing. Like again, I said, I don't know if that's because so many posts were coming in at the same time or if it's something in the Facebook system, but we'll take a look at it as soon as we finish and wrap up here. I'll be back at 6 o'clock. I'd like to continue the conversation about gun violence and hear any ideas and thoughts that people might have, and be glad to share with you some things that we're doing on a proactive approach, a reactive approach, covert and overt. But we have to do something different. We can't give up. You know, oh, another story, another shooting, and whether it's here in this city or somewhere else, we can't give up. We got to work together and continue to strive forward, and together we can make a difference. So I appreciate all of you. Again, I apologize for some of the.
Looks like we've got some comments that are still stuck, so
They're
we'll
still
go
stuck
back
in
and
it.
look at them
Okay.
and make sure we.
We'll address them tonight.
Yes.
So please be safe. I'll be back at 6 o'clock, and we'll try to get this cleaned up a little bit for you, okay? God bless you all. Take care. Have a great summer. And we'll do this again tonight at 6 and then again next month. Take care.